All right, welcome to Original Bacon. This is my season 2 of Arrow review. This season was a crazy roller coaster. First off, at the end of the last season, we find that Oliver Queen's mother has taken the fall for Malcolm Mirlin. She's been getting all the blame from the earthquake bomb going off. She's in prison now. Thea Queen is now in charge of Oliver's dance club and bar with her boyfriend Roy. And Oliver has retreated back to the island where he's thinking, basically. And we have Felicity Smoke and Oliver's bodyguard Diggles. They go after him and bring him back to Starling City. This episode has all sorts of twists and turns. Spoiler alerts if you haven't watched the episode yet. We find out that Oliver's mother, forget her Merit. I want to call her Merida, but I know that's not right. Oliver's mother is acquitted of all of the charges because Malcolm Mirlin is still alive, and he's basically blackmailing her or helping her out of not having to go to prison so that he can get his hands on Thea Queen, who we end up finding out is actually that Oliver's mother had a fling with Malcolm Mirlin, and Thea is actually his daughter. And we have Roy is trying to get the attention of the Arrow, and he is being reckless and saving a bunch of people at night now that the Arrow has left the city and is now targeting others, not just low-level crime. All sorts of craziness is happening. A bunch of episodes with the Huntress coming back to kill her father or to blackmail Oliver into helping her get her father. Then we find out, spoilers again, if you haven't watched the episode, that's up on Hulu. You're probably mad at me by now if you haven't already turned off the episode, if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, it's up on Netflix. I'm right now trying to find out if I can find any website where I can watch episode 1 through 4, because only episode 5 through 9 of Arrow are on Hulu. So if anybody knows of where I can find episode 1 through 4, comment below or subscribe if you like the episode. But spoiler alerts, if you haven't watched it yet, it's up on Netflix. Turn off this episode. Thank you for watching the episode so far, and then go watch Arrow. It's a really good series. I know the episodes are about 45 minutes long, but there's all sorts of craziness, awesome stuff if you like the Green Arrow character. The Arrow, first off, Oliver Queen does not want to kill anybody anymore. He had no problem killing people in the first season, but in the second season, he is against killing, I believe, thanks to Felicity Smoke, who doesn't want to see him killing anybody anymore. And although this is really hard because this season there's a bunch of people after Oliver. First off, we have the return of Sarah, who we thought died in the boat crash, but it's revealed in the second season that on the island after they killed off everybody that the assassin that was with Oliver, and they end up saving I want to call her Smoke, but basically they save the guy who saved Oliver at the very beginning of the first season. They save her daughter, and her daughter ends up falling in love with Oliver, but Wade is the name of the guy that's with Oliver, is in love with her also. And that this boat shows up, and they stumble on to a camp of these guys that are searching the island for these World War II submarines. And there's these people that were on the submarines that were exposed to this chemical that was basically trying to turn them into superhumans, and that it basically made them immortal. And this doctor is searching for these pills, and Oliver goes back to try and save, and him and Wade end up going back trying to save the girl, and then Oliver ends up getting kidnapped, and Wade is left for dead, and the two of them team up to save Oliver later, but only after Oliver finds out that Sarah, the girl that he thought had died on the Queen's Gambit, is still alive, and that they end up formulating this plot, and they're able to get off the boat, and the episodes revolve around them getting captured again, going back and forth trying to get information, and eventually finding out where the submarine is. And then Wade is dying of the burns that he had gotten from when Oliver tried to go back and save the girl, and they end up injecting him with the miracle cure, the Mercuriu, as its miracle, basically, miracle drug, Mercuriu, and it ends up making him super. He's able to heal really quick, but he loses his mind, and after they leave him for dead, thinking that he had died, but then Sarah and the other girl and Oliver try and leave, but then the doctor ends up catching them and tells Oliver that he can only save one of the girls, and he saves Sarah. The other girl dies that Wade was in love with, and now after Wade comes back and he saves Oliver and Sarah, he now wants to kill the doctor, for the doctor killed the girl that he loved. But then Oliver feels that he needs to tell Wade that he jumped in front of Sarah and not the other girl, Shadow. Shadow was her name, but Sarah says that the drug's gonna make it so Wade will probably turn on him, which I really didn't think was that big of a lie, because it looked like Oliver had jumped towards the doctor and he was kind of in between Sarah and Shadow, but obviously he was closer to Sarah, so the doctor killed Shadow and tells Wade that he had that Oliver had picked Sarah over Shadow, and now Wade is consumed with killing Oliver. He takes over the boat, the prison boat where the doctor was. He somewhat kills the doctor. He captures Oliver. Everybody else on the boat and the prisoners get away, but then Sarah ends up having to try and barter for Oliver, and all sorts of craziness happens. They get away, but then they get in a submarine, and then they try and crash the submarine into the boat, where Oliver goes and saves Sarah before the submarine blows up the boat that Wade's on. But they don't get out in time, so the people on the submarine blow up the boat that Oliver and Sarah are on, and Wade is on, and instead of curing Wade, Oliver tries to kill him with an arrow, only to find out that Wade ends up healing from it and is now hunting down Sarah and Oliver and all of their family in Starling City. And in this episode, we also find out that we meet Barry Allen before the Flash, and he ends up finding out Oliver's secret, and works with Felicity Smoke, and they're kind of smitten for each other, and Oliver gets jealous of Barry and is trying to kind of showing his muscles to try and win back Felicity, but Felicity knows that Oliver has all these girlfriends that are constantly falling all over him. He has Felicity. He has, or not Felicity. He has, well, Felicity's always falling all over him. Then he has Laurel. Then he has Sarah. Then he has that cop girl, and then he had Shadow, and then he has a Huntress, and all these people. And the Huntress comes back in this season, and Sarah and the Huntress have a showdown, cat fight, and all sorts of other craziness. Roy ends up going crazy because he gets injected with the Mirakuru. And that's when Oliver decides that he's going to start training him and shows him his secret identity. And Roy ends up becoming a part of the team. Malcolm Merlin is alive, and he comes back for Thea, and he ends up taking Thea in the end. And we don't know if Thea's going to become evil now, because we know that Speedy became evil in the original. The original Speedy became evil in the original Green Arrow comic book, but I would have thought that her boyfriend would become evil, but it looks like he might be the good Speedy. Maybe they'll flip-flop where he becomes evil because he has this anger that he can't control. But although the Miracle ends up getting cured in him by the end of the series, by the end of the season, we also have Wade in multiple areas ends up telling Thea that her mother cheated on her father with Malcolm Merlin, so now she doesn't even feel like she has a connection with Oliver or their mother. Wade ends up hunting down and terrorizing Sarah, her parents, and all of Oliver's family, ending up killing Oliver's mother. And in the midst of all of this, one of Wade's flunkies is this woman that is a co-owner or co-CEO of of Queen Industries, and Oliver ends up trusting her and puts her in temporary CEO, or making her a temporary CEO, and then she ends up going behind his back with the board and becomes the true CEO and takes full ownership of Queen and Consolidated, and ends up she had this plan from the beginning, and she's taking all of their money, and by the end of the season they are poor. Basically, they lose the house. Thea leaves with Malcolm Merlin. Their mother is dead. Oliver is still fighting crime, but he is basically poor. Barry, we keep on seeing all these clues throughout this season. We keep on seeing Felicity. Smoke is watching all these. Like, whenever it goes to her, if she's watching the news, it keeps on talking about the Star Labs and the experiment that ends up turning the Flash Barry Allen into the Flash, until the episode where they meet Barry Allen, and he's in the episode for a couple episodes, and then he gets back to Central City just in time to see the machine turn on, and then he's in his room or in his office where he gets hit by the lightning, and that's where one of the episodes ends, which is really cool because that's the first episode of The Flash, and I really like seeing all these hints. And there's all these episodes that begin with Felicity just coming back from Central City, where she has been watching over Barry Allen, and she meets Cisco at Star Labs, and I forget her name, the doctor that works with Barry Allen and Cisco, and Dr. Wells, and Cisco talks about Iris with Felicity, and Felicity makes a remark that Barry is in a coma. The only guy that likes her is in a coma and is already moving on, and So she doesn't know that Iris is his sister, or somewhat sister, and all of this is leading up because I didn't know all of this before watching the episode of The Flash where they both knew that they had feelings for another person, that they couldn't be together even though they're absolutely perfect for each other, Barry Allen and Felicity Smoke. Other parts of the episode, well, Wade Wilson kills Oliver and Thea's mom with a sword, execution style, just like the Doctor did to Shadow and Oliver and Sarah. And the episode is just really crazy. The last episode, Sarah talks Ra's al Ghul's daughter into coming and helping them take down, because Wade Wilson had basically created more Mirakuru, and he takes basically a whole area of a prison, this whole busload of prisoners, and he turns them into basically monsters like him, and they are ravaging the city, and the League of Assassins comes in, and they basically take down, basically have all the prisoners inside this one tunnel in the freeway, and they take out like tons and tons of them. Roy at this point is without his powers, but he's doing really awesome. He has a bow and arrow and a hood and a mask, just like his Oliver, and just a really great ending to this season. I'm really excited to see what the next season brings. Predictions for the future of the series. I'm wondering if Thea's going to turn evil, if Roy is eventually going to turn evil. I wonder if Thea and Oliver's mom is still actually dead. I'm wondering how they killed the woman who, because the woman that took Oliver or Queen Incorporated away from Oliver got killed by Felicity, I believe, and Felicity and Oliver's bodyguard, Mr. Diggle, and then Mr. Diggle and Felicity end up getting they end up getting the Suicide Squad to help them basically stop the government from dropping a nuclear bomb on Starling City, and to stop the outbreak of Wilson's team, or biological warfare, from taking over the rest of the United States. Then we have the series is just really, really good. I highly recommend it. This episode is really amazing. The end of the episode is with like the whole Green Arrow. We have Black Canary. We have Roy or Speedy. We have Oliver Queen. We have Mr. Diggle. We have a whole squad of League of Assassins, plus Ra's al Ghul's daughter herself fighting along with the Green Arrow against Deathstroke's army, like basically an entire team that is just like him. Deathstroke ends up getting cured of the Mirakuru and then imprisoned by the American government on the island again, inside of a prisoner cell that I think is going to come into play in the later series, because we still don't know where he was. Apparently they've gone into 2 years of the history of what he was doing on the island, and he wasn't even on the island all the time, because at the end of the season we find out that after destroying the boat, he ends up waking up in Beijing in China. And so obviously he's not on the island anymore, and so what's going to happen next? Or is this just a like a dream sequence? Also, one part that kind of bothered me is Oliver confesses his love for Felicity, and Felicity, I guess, didn't know that he was going to do this, but it was also just a ploy to get Wade to capture her and he gave her gave her a injector or a syringe of the cure for Mirakuru, and he made it really look like he was confessing his love for her and not Laurel or Sarah. And so he's apparently Felicity Smoke was also very troubled by him saying that, and that it sounded very honest from him. And so she's torn between Barry and Oliver now, which is obvious from if you watch the Flash TV series. But thank you for watching Original Bacon. This was a really long episode, but I really like this series so far, and there was a lot to talk about in this entire season, and I didn't go into all of it, but there was some really cool character development with Laurel and her father, Mr. Diggle, and Felicity. There's some really funny scenes with Felicity. Felicity's my favorite character, especially since she looks just like my wife. So, really great. Thank you for watching Original Bacon, and have a great day. And please, please, please check out Arrow and The Flash. They're both on CW. And you can watch prior episodes of The Flash on Hulu. And you can watch current episodes of The Arrow on Hulu. And you can watch season 1 and 2 of Arrow on Netflix. Thank you for watching Original Bacon. Have a great day. And subscribe if you want to.